Hello my friends, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got something a little bit different for you. Normally this is just me talking on a question or a topic, but today I'm going to be talking about a book. Now I've done this once or twice on the channel before, and it's something I like to do every now and then when I feel there's a particularly important book with really useful principles and information in it that I feel really help and apply to you guys. And this is one of those videos. Today we're going to be looking at this book. This is Life's Golden Ticket by Brendon Burchard. For those of you who are familiar with me, my story, my work, you will know that Brendon is a man who's heavily influenced me in what I do. I first came across Brendon just as I was kind of starting this journey into entrepreneurship, thought leadership, and his work has been really useful to me. I went to his seminar, Experts Academy, and that was a life-changing experience for me, no hyperbole. It really changed the dynamics of how I approach my life and how I approach my business. And everything that you see me doing now is really a product of going to that seminar and being engaged with Brendon's work. And this is his first book. This was his book that he wrote kind of just as he was on the cusp of making it big in his career. And it's a lovely book. It's a parable. So rather than your traditional self-help personal development book, which is all kind of knowledge and strategies and concepts, this is actually a story. You can read this like it's a fictional book and you can get an entertaining story. But in the story are a heap of valuable lessons. So just to give you a brief overview of what the book is about, it's about this man who's in a very kind of difficult stage of his life. His relationship isn't going well, his job isn't going well, his health isn't going well, all of the vain things in life aren't really how he wants them to be. And he gets this envelope, and in the envelope is an invitation to a fairground. And he goes into this fairground and it quickly becomes apparent that this is a magical fairground. And he's guided through the fairground by a series of characters. And as he visits different parts and different rides and different themes in the theme park, all of these have a valuable lesson with them. So each chapter is with one particular character, one particular ride, one particular amusement, and that chapter has a key message in it. And so as he goes through this journey, he learns more and more about himself, more and more about how he can change his life to ultimately he reaches the end. And it's a nice end that I won't spoil. It's a really, really good book. For entertainment value, it's great. For personal development value, even better. And what I wanted to do was just share 4 of the parables that really kind of stood out to me from this book. Of course, each chapter has a parable in it. It's got lots of useful stuff. But here are 4 ones that I thought were really, really good. So, parable number 1 is all about the themes of our life. You see, the main character quickly discovers when he goes into the fairground, into the amusement park, that he has been very dictated by what has happened to him in the past. A difficult and abusive relationship that he had with his dad, people bullying him at school, concerns about money, going into a job that he didn't like, these expectations and false beliefs that he had. It becomes very quickly apparent that he's been scripted not by the good things that have happened to him in his life, but by the bad things. And one of the characters uses an analogy and a metaphor of this. He said, why is it that people always come into our fairground and when they leave they don't talk about the pleasant rides, they don't talk about the little teacups and the little horses. That's not the things that people focus on. They don't focus on the pleasant, enjoyable things. They always talk about the scary rides, the roller coasters, the things that drop you from a great height. Why is it that we always focus on the scary rides and not the pleasant rides? Why is it that we always focus on the negative themes of our life and not the positive ones? So one of the parables that comes from this book is about being ruled by the negative rides in your life, the scary stuff, rather than focusing on the positive. Now, the second parable that I'd like to pull from this book is about elephants. So at one stage in the book, the character goes into the big circus tent, and in there they have all the various animal displays, and there's elephants. And the elephant trainer starts telling the main character about how they train these elephants. He says we capture them as babies and we tie them to this stake in the ground. And the elephants, the baby elephants, they try to escape and they tug and strain, but they just can't free themselves from this stake in the ground. And eventually, the more that they stay in captivity, they stop struggling. They stop trying to remove themselves from the stake. And as they grow bigger and as they grow into adults, we still tie them to the same stake. When they're doing their performance, we have these elephants lifting tree trunks and moving cars. They have huge strength, but they don't try to break free of that stake, even though they could rip it out the ground like it's a twig. Now, why is that? It's all about learned helplessness. The elephants had a period of struggle where they weren't able to get through their challenge and their confinement, and so they gave up. And they have now given up for the rest of their lives. Even though they now have the ability to break through, they no longer try. Now, how many of us live in a state of learned helplessness? We had challenges and confinement in our past and we couldn't break through, so we just gave up. And now, perhaps we do have the ability to break through these things. We do have the ability to create a better life for ourselves, but we've simply given up. Don't be like those elephants. Don't stay chained to a tiny stake in the ground. Break free and create a better life for yourself. So that's parable number 2. Now, parable number 3 of the book is about falling from tightropes. Again, at one point in the story, the character finds himself in a performance and he's asked to walk this tightrope above the ground. And I'm sure you've been to these type of shows before, and he's walking the tightrope and he's got balance, this big kind of like pole, so he's got to walk along, arms out, walk along the tightrope, and he's got one of the performers with him, guiding him. And the performer guides him, teaches him how to do it, and he says, now you've got to do the last bit by yourself. And that character is terrified, he's scared, there's a huge drop beneath him, and he's wobbling about, he's trying to move, and he's getting closer and closer to the end, but at the last couple meters, he falls. And as he falls, luckily, a net comes up and it catches him. And the entertainer who is guiding him comes down, helps him out of the net, and says, well done, you did great, you faced your fear. The main character says, why did I do great? I fell. I didn't complete the act, I didn't complete the performance. And the entertainer says, no, you didn't complete the performance, but what you really learned was a valuable lesson. That any time we advance towards our goals, we fall in life. We don't always get right first time. We often fall at not just the final hurdle, but several hurdles before. If you are doing anything scary and challenging in your life, you are going to fall. You are going to fail. And that is a natural part of the process. And it's nothing to feel ashamed about, and it's nothing to feel scared about, it's nothing to get worried about. It is a natural part of the process. When we chase lofty goals, sometimes we fall, but there is always a net that's there to catch us. So the fourth and final parable that I'd like to share from this book is about the Strongman. Now, this is actually the last character that our main character meets. It's the last circus performer. And the Strongman tells him a story about how he wasn't always so strong, and as a kid he was very weak, and he had several illnesses and allergies, and there was a key moment in his life that he describes more in the book where he decided that he was no longer going to be weak and he was going to try and become the strongest version of himself. And so he started to do all his training, try to make himself stronger. But what he found was that the people around him were putting constraints on him. He had his mum telling him, oh, be careful, don't get hurt, don't push yourself too hard. His friends at first started to admire him for putting in effort to try and become a little stronger. But as he got so engaged and focused on this task, on this goal that he had, eventually his friends started to lose interest in him and started to view him with a different attitude of who is this person? Who does he think he is, trying to be someone he's not? And the Strongman talks about how he had to move away from home, and often he was met with these constraints and this resistance from other people who were resistant to his change, who weren't encouraging him, who weren't driving him towards his goal. They were actually trying to hold him back. They were trying to put their fears and their constraints on him. And the Strongman said, I had to push through all of this to become the man that I wanted to be. And I had to find people who supported me in this goal. And that's why I came to this circus, because here people accept me for what I'm trying to do. People accept me for my skills and my strengths and my talents. And what you're going to find, ladies and gentlemen, is on your journey, when you make a decision to change and you make a decision to grow, most people around you are probably going to be resistant to it. They're going to try to place their fears on you. They will try and ostracize you, consciously and unconsciously. Because the thing is, when you start to rise up, it makes everyone realize that they aren't rising themselves. They get comfortable in their status quo, and as long as everyone around them is in the same level of comfort, that makes them feel safe. But what happens is when you start to rise up and you start to grow taller than all the other flowers start to get jealous of you and they want to cut you down. Don't let people cut you down in life. When you have something you want to do and someone who you want to be, you keep going wholeheartedly at that. And you find people who are going to support you, drive you, and motivate you in that. Because there are people out there like that. For me, Brendon is one of those people. Brendon's someone I look up to who's, that's someone who is urging me, motivating me, calling me to be my best self. And that is the type of person I seek to surround myself with every day, is people who are positive, who are inspiring, who are motivational, who make me want to be a better person. And so if you're struggling to find those type of people, then I actually have a Facebook group where we gather together people like you, people who are seeking to make their change. And all these change makers, we come together and we help each other, we support each other, we attempt to inspire and motivate each other to be the best version of ourselves. If you'd like to join that Facebook group, then there is a link in the video description below. I'd love to have you in there, and I'd love to help you to make the change you desire in your life. So guys, that is life's golden ticket. Highly recommend reading this book. It's a lovely tale. It's got a lot of very beautiful and moving moments in it. And I'd also recommend checking out the rest of Brendon's work. Very useful if you're into personal growth, personal development, seeking to perform at a high level on a consistent basis. Remember guys, that you are the author of your life. You don't have to keep on living a script of those negative themes, of those scary rides. You have blank pages ahead of you. You hold the pen and you can write whatever you want on those pages. Thank you very much for joining me in this video today. I hope you found it useful. But until that next time, go out there and live your life of love and service. I'll speak to you soon. David. Hey guys, it's David again. Just a quick couple things to cover before you have to shoot off. First of all, if you liked this video and if you've been enjoying the content on the channel thus far, then could I ask you to please click that big red subscribe button below? That way you're sure never to miss any content and you can keep up with all the training and knowledge that I'm sharing on the channel. Second of all, if you feel that this video was impactful for you, and if you feel that there's a person or a group in your life who could really benefit from the message in this video, could I ask you please to share it with them? Share it with anyone who you could feel could benefit from this training. You see, I'm doing everything I can to get my message out there to all the people who need to hear it, but there's only so much I can do by myself. So I'm asking you guys, as my fans and supporters, to help me spread this message and help impact as many people's lives as possible. And then third of all, if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about my story and the 3 most powerful life lessons I've learned, then you can find this in my latest book, The Last 60 Minutes. This is a book that will help you find meaning and vibrancy in your life. Go to the video description below and there'll be a link where you can look at the book and find out more information about it. And if you find yourself reading it, I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for in there. So guys, until next time, remember to go out there and live a life of love and service. I look forward to speaking to you soon.